from the Stereo Sound Record Studios, your home for the best in unsigned and indie punk, rock, and metal. This is The Mosh Pit with your host, Wes Everett.
Silver Cord, Million Eyes.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. It's your host, Wes Everett. I am here with my guest, Barry Shelton from Sister Sleep. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. But how about you?
Doing good. Enjoying another lazy Sunday for a little while anyway.
Oh, no, for sure.
So what's been going on with you? What is new in your world?
Well, it's just been really hard at work on new music and trying to get our name out there. We actually have a new song coming out. We haven't announced it yet, but it'll be out early next month.
Okay.
So that's one thing we're going to start pushing towards. We have our first show that we're playing next month as well, October 17th at the Aisle 5 in Atlanta, Little Five Points.
Yeah, I know that area.
Yeah, I love Little Five. I've always hung out there, like growing up, especially when I was a teenager and stuff like that. It was always really cool area to hang out.
Definitely. apologize for any background noise. They're doing a Rotary meeting and
You're
doing some
good.
stuff. So,
Oh no, yeah, no, you no worries.
So you got new music coming out. Let's talk about your last single.
Yeah.
Talk about the writing of it and how it came to be. Walk
Okay.
us through that.
Yeah, I can do that. So our last single was "Give Up the Ghost," and that it's one of my favorite songs that we've written. To be honest, it was very much a different take on as far as the lyrics go, especially on my end, because it was one of the first songs that I've written that wasn't solely like just my own personal feelings, because it sort of has one foot in fantasy and the other in reality, which is like not something I had done a lot of, and it's something I've wanted to lean into more, as more of that like storytelling with like a deeper meaning, because I knew I wanted to write a song about honestly about coming out and being openly queer and stuff like that, and that was what it started with, was that. And I've written a lot about that in the past few years, but like this specifically, and then it ended up shifting over into using being like turned into like a vampire as a reference point. So it's sort of like it's this story of being turned into a vampire and getting revenge, but it's also the story of being openly queer and like being unashamed. And it's a really fun. It was a really fun place to sort of play in, I guess, because there's a lot of overlap there. There's a lot of religious imagery, especially someone. I'm not religious. I definitely grew up religious and surrounded by it, and like plenty of people who weren't very accepting of that, and so that's sort of where the lyrical content was inspired from.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. It's cool that you can use all that as in your expressions, because I feel like, because I was the same way. I was born and raised Baptist, so
right. I get you there. Same. That's same. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I mean, even just going into the punk rock and metal scene, it's like, ooh,
oh, for sure. It's crazy, because like you want to believe that like the rock and metal scene is a lot more progressive and forward thinking and all this kind of stuff. It really it cannot be. Like it can really be stuck. It can very much be stuck in this old mentality that's like rampant with homophobia, misogyny, and like transphobia and like all this kind of stuff. And like and there are plenty of great people who aren't that way, but it's a rude awakening, I guess. Especially because I do feel like there's a lot of music that is clearly the artists are very open about not being that way, but then a lot of the fan base, I think, can somehow miss that point entirely.
I think that's the worst part of any entertainment, are the fans.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that, and that's across the entire platform: metal, Star Wars, board games. The fans suck.
That's fair. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing, because like for me, I think fans, it's crazy, because they're like equally as important as they can be so frustrating.
Yes.
Broken Romeo, wait for me.
Living with
Because like there are so many great people and fans are super important, and I do believe that artists and things artists, but even like you said, like movies, like anything really wouldn't exist or succeed without its fan base.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, so many fans can just ruin it for everyone, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like it really sucks. And there's also just the whole like I think it's because you only have so much control of who is um like feeding on your content, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and who is a fan of your content. You can put it out there as much as you want, but there are like a insane amount of people who are like fans of Rage Against the Machine that are like completely, like conservative. And I don't, it kind of blows me away.
Yeah. I 100% agree, because it's one of those things. It's one of those weird things where, and in my opinion, I feel like punk has taken that turn where
Right.
it's not, where it used to be against the entire system, like
Yeah.
authority in general. And then each
Yes.
side wants to take and be like, that's our song against you guys. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've definitely seen like the people have the mentality of like, oh well, like the most punk thing you can be right now is like a conservative Republican, and I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I I don't know if that's I get what you're saying. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's true.
Yeah, not something
um
I'm putting on a t-shirt. Be like, yeah.
right. It's bizarre. Yeah, fans, people, and it is just like the human condition. Like people are gonna hear what they hear, and they're gonna take it. They're gonna take from it what they take from it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it is, I suppose.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on away from this wonderful topic.
Yeah. No. We kind of like drifted in there a little bit. It's fine. Yeah, we can move forward.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. That's what I like.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your influences as far as music in general, what you pull from other artists to make your
Right.
own style.
Right. Well, for me, like it's very obvious. Like my biggest influence is like My Chemical Romance.
Mm-hmm.
Being just because they are my favorite band. They've been my favorite band since I was like 14. So much of me wanting to be a musician, be a singer, being whatever, stemmed from that that sort of awakening when I was younger. But like there's so many bands and artists that I am inspired by. Like the band Silverstein is another one of my favorite bands that I've been into for years. And I always tell when I talk about them, I'm always saying that I always think that they're maybe the most consistent band in the world to me. They've just been doing it for so long and have never really stopped or released anything that was disappointing or not anything subpar, and I really appreciate that about them to just keep pushing. But like as far as influences go that are a little outside the box, a lot of my writing is inspired by film, and like horror movies and stuff. Like I'm a huge horror fan, and I pull from different films and different like styles and kind of think like, oh, if I'm writing this song about this topic, what can I do to make it a little more theatrical or thematic? And I do it that way. Yeah, I mean, but like but as far as like other artist influences, I even am inspired by bands like Queen and stuff like that. Like as a kid, I grew up loving bands like Queen and AC/DC, stuff like that. Like I loved stuff like that growing up, and I think that even when I'm not thinking about it, there are some things there that do still pull from that. Ozzy Osbourne's another good example.
Yeah. It's the theatrics, right?
Yeah, the theatrics and the sort of like the darker tone. And yeah, like I definitely have a love for theatrics.
So you mentioned all those great bands,
Mhm.
and for some reason you didn't mention one who is absolutely dark with a silver lining and theatrical.
Oh,
Meatloaf.
you know what? You're so right. No. You're so right though. Meatloaf is great, and honestly, Meatloaf was in a weird way. I feel like Meatloaf was like a legend, but also underrated in a way.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like, and that's exactly why. Like even just now, like because I didn't bring Meatloaf up, but like no, like he was phenomenal and very like against the grain and just doing something super unique. And no one really did it in the way that he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And his lyrics were just, I mean, just absolutely some of the most captivating lyrics. Just
yeah, no, I completely agree. The level of like theatrics and writing like a rock opera very much. I think he in a lot of ways he sort of, I won't say maybe not started it, but in a way like kind of honed in on it before anyone else did, with like Bad Out of Hell and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Mosh Pit with your host Wes Everett right here on Insane Realm Radio.
Sister Sleep, give up the ghost.
And there's no going back. Artery severed, blood on my hands, you've painted me black. I'm worn and I'm waiting. Forgive me, Father, for what I've done. Not a golden boy, a forgotten son. I've given up on the life I had. I'm born again. Watch me creep down the halls. Now walk on that, dripping with sin. Grab your rosary, grab your good book and your shade. So afraid of what's out there, staring in disgust. Your holy water just for us. You spit on the word clear. The blood in my veins now turn to ice. I won't be ashamed and I won't play nice. I've given up on the life I had. I'm born again. Watch me creep down the halls. Now walk on that, dripping with sin. Shrouded in shadows, I put up a fight. You found me here, said live on tomorrow, but you must die tonight. It comes into my veins. It's what I
If you actually no, I don't want to ask that one yet. What
Okay.
about live shows? Your
Yeah.
favorite venues to play? Because I know you guys have played Atlanta, you've played outside of Atlanta. What's been some of your
Right.
favorite venues? Maybe top three venues to play?
Oof, that's tough. I do think the Masquerade is definitely up there.
Mm,
Um, for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's just like I feel like it's sort of the gold standard for Atlanta venues, and like it's always felt like home to me. So being able to be there and to perform is always, it's always it's a great feeling, and it feels very fulfilling and empowering to be able to play there. Um, we and this is really like Sister Sleep hasn't gotten to play too much yet. Like we were playing, like I said, we're playing our first show next month, but in previous bands and the band that we had before starting this one, which was the Keepsake, we played in a lot of other places. The Smithsville Bar is pretty great.
yeah.
They've always been like super kind to us there. It's always runs pretty smooth. I think it was the Vinyl we played. It might have been the Vinyl. I know it was Center Stage. I can't remember if it was the Vinyl or one of the other venues. It was like the last show that we played as that band. 2.5 years ago or so was really awesome. And I know that we're going to be playing some shows later this year that haven't been announced yet, but we're going to be branching out a little bit and playing most likely in Tennessee.
Okay.
So we'll be able to broaden our horizons a little bit, and I might be able to give you a better answer.
Definitely. Well, man, definitely hit us up on your tours, your shows, all those.
Oh, yeah.
We will help promote. We'll push it for you too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I would love that.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely hook you up with some kick-ass bands in Tennessee too.
Oh, hell yeah. That's perfect.
Definitely. Now the other one I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
As far as collaborations, are there any bands that you'd love to collaborate with?
Like dream collaborations, or are we talking like Atlanta, like Georgia, like other bands?
One of each.
Okay, that's fair. That's tough. I would obviously, like peak dream collaboration for me would be able to collaborate with Gerard Way.
Ooh, yeah.
Just because that's like, for me, that would be like the end all be all thing, because as a writer, as a performer, as a vocalist, everything, they just have inspired me so much, and I think it would be the absolutely craziest thing to be able to like create something together. That would be absolutely unreal. As far as Georgia bands that I would love to collaborate with, I'd love to do something with. They're a very different band than we are, but they're good friends of ours. With Glimmers, they're like a pop punk fronted band by Maggie Schneider's the singer. They're very much like fundamentally like a very different style than we are, but like I feel like there's some common ground there, and they're like great people. They're some of the most talented and hardworking people I know. So I'd love to, like, I don't know, maybe write something together or something like that, just to see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Just to see what can come of it. It'd be interesting to hear like all the different influences sort of coming together and working. I think that's what I'll say. I'd also, another band I would absolutely love to do something with would be the Callous Cowboys.
Man, they are blowing up right now,
and they fucking deserve it. They're
yes,
so
they
good.
do.
No, they are absolutely insane. Their new record is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't go on Twitter, Instagram, any of them without seeing somebody commenting, sharing it, and I'm just like, dude, these are hometown guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy. Like, and even before the record dropped, I remember like just seeing the hype machine and people just talking about them. And it's crazy because like I love the fact that they're a band that isn't at all you know, what people consider like mainstream or radio friendly or anything like that. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter because like it's good shit is good shit, and they just absolutely kill it. They're super unique. Their live performance is absolutely insane. Yeah, they deserve it for sure. I'm excited to see where they go from here, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I need to get more of their stuff back in rotation on the pit too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Your 3 goals for the next 12 months, what are we looking at?
So I will say, I think, I just want to keep building. I want to start really building like a fan base and a base of like open communication and support. We haven't announced this yet, but I think by the time this comes out, it'll be announced. So we have our debut EP coming out in October, and it's called Wraith and Rosary. It's 5 tracks, most of which are out right now, but there's like a couple that haven't been released yet. So it's just us dipping our toes in and getting a solid release out there. But I know we are also working really hard on more music to come out as soon as possible. Hopefully next year we'll have another EP or something like that. That's sort of what we're working towards. I want next year to be really focused on, as far as playing shows, I want to start playing more shows outside of Atlanta and more, like different locations in Georgia, maybe some states here in the Southeast, like Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, stuff like that, South Carolina. Really just start putting in work and reaching people, getting the music to the right people in front of the right folks,
Oh yeah. Well, if there's anything that we can do at the Mosh Pit to help, hit us up.
Yeah, no, I definitely will. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And those are great goals. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys blow up like everybody else, man, like all these other bands.
Yeah. No, thank you. Honestly, I think I do really love that we are able to say we're an Atlanta band, because like there's so many amazing artists.
Sarah Jane Finger.
Why should I keep looking when I can't see anything worth missing? It was meant to be. If we can't find change, I'm born of misery. Feed the vibration. Collapse onto me.
see through pain has been brought to light with the world of change. Rid the lies, ask what you know, dressed in spite.
Coming out of Atlanta.
There.
Yeah, like every genre has so many that are just absolutely killing it right now, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh, definitely.
So it's good company for sure.
Definitely. And I feel like all the bands here really support each other.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's not really any that are like, oh no, don't work with them. They're like, no, you need to go contact these people. Here are your contacts. Call them.
Yes, exactly. And that's the way I've always felt. That's another personal goal for me, is to be out at more shows in general, especially local shows, because obviously for the past 2 years it's been pretty tricky, and I haven't quite gotten my feet back on my feet with doing that as often as I'd like. So it'd be nice to really get out there and show support and meet people and really feel involved in the local scene again, because I do miss it a lot.
Oh yeah. Dude, I'd love to catch another live show with you guys.
Oh no,
the last one I saw was the Keepsake, and I think y'all were playing with Shane Goss and her band.
Fair Shake.
Yeah, Fair Shake. I don't know why I couldn't think of that right then.
Oh no, you're good. We played with them a couple times, and I love Shane so much.
Yeah,
Fair Shake's great. Like I would absolutely love for you to come out to a show sometime. We'll definitely have, like I said, we'll have the one in October. We have another one planned for later this year in December. So we'll definitely be playing. I would love to meet up and catch up for sure.
Oh, definitely. I gotta get some merch too. I gotta get some merch.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Definitely. Speaking of Atlanta bands, I think it's really funny. When I first started this podcast, and you're gonna think it's crazy, but when I first started this podcast, Atlanta bands would not give me the time of day.
Really?
2013, 2014, these bands were like, no.
That's so weird to me.
One of the first bands I had was in Seattle, freaking Washington. They were like, yeah, sure, play our stuff. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. But that's my thing. Like, I don't understand. That's so weird. Because it's just like, yeah, go ahead.
But I do get it. I really did. At the time, I was kind of jaded because I was like, dude, I'm an Atlanta guy. I'm one of you. But I get it. There's been so many fly-by-night brands that have come through here. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to do something big. And then they just don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So in a way, I respect you guys for going, let's see what you got first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I can understand that. But I guess for me, it's just like, well, for one, you've always seemed super supportive. And like, I feel like you're really doing a good job at highlighting up and coming artists. And I'm very appreciative of that. So, I mean, it was definitely like, if you wanted us to do an interview or take part or anything, like, yeah, of course we're down. Yeah, no, I honestly, anytime like a show or anything like that has like hit us up about playing our music or interviewing us or anything like that, I'm always super open, super down. I just love, talking and bullshitting. So
absolutely. I mean, that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're ever up here toward the Rockmart area, I'd love to have you come in, hang out, in studio.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd love that. I mean, honestly, maybe we could set something like that up in the future. I think that'd be really cool.
Okay. Well, normally I try to do 6 months, like a 6 month catch up and see, how it's going on your goals that you
Right.
listed, what's going on, what's new, what's changed, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like sort of a then and now progress bar kind of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we could set something like that up because it's 6 or so months from now. I'm sure we'll have a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah, because it'll be spring by that point and nice and comfortable out. Festivals will be picking back up. So
yeah.
Always thinking ahead, man. Always thinking ahead.
No, you have to. You have. I don't have a choice. It's a blessing and a curse, I think. I can never, and I'm the worst about it. Like I am always looking forward and trying to get to the next thing, and I'm trying to learn to take a step back and appreciate what's going on at the moment. Like if I do something that I've been looking forward to, or I find success in something or whatever, like, and I just have the bad tendency to be like, okay, cool, but now what? You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing, but it can be bad, and I have to my bandmates have to keep me in check on that a lot because it's very easy for me to get lost in it.
Yeah, I feel that 100%, 100%. As far as advice that you would give to any bands trying to make a name for themselves.
Right. I think, first, I think it's really important that you're working with the right people, from your bandmates to your producer. Like that, honestly, a good producer is super important, a lot more important than people, I think, realize. Like, because your songs need to be good, but you need to work with someone who understands what you're going for, who's capturing what it is you're wanting to put out into the world, and it needs to be a quality. Like it's the reality is it's easier now than ever to get people to hear your music, but there's so many people doing it that it becomes sort of push and pull. Like everything's at your fingertips with streaming and online and like everything like that. Like everyone, like TikTok, everything. Like there's so much to where you're going to allow people they have the opportunity to hear your music, but because everyone is also doing the same thing, you just got to make sure you're on top of it, But definitely as far as like success goes and like just trying to do the right thing. I mean, just write the music that you love, write the music that you want to write, work with the right people, just have a great team. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah. Just have people who have common goals and want the same thing and who are willing to work towards that. That would be the best advice, I think, especially, up and coming.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely good advice.
Yeah.
Definitely surround yourself with people who want to go to the same place you do.
Yes.
And don't want to just kind of wait around until it shows up.
Yes. Because it's I would never say there's anything wrong with that, because there's not, like
right.
if somebody wants to be in a band and like just sort of coast and, they love it and they're just having a good time, that's great. Like, there's no problem with that. Mm-hmm. But if you have one person who is super determined to make their band, a career, for example, versus someone who just, is along for the ride and having a good time, but it's whatever, there is going to be some clashing and some issues there, and it can potentially really put you at a standstill when you deal with that. So it is very important to be very transparent about what it is you're wanting,
Splinter Throne, the Reaper is calling.
Breath like I'm running out of time. The Reaper is calling. The Reaper is calling. The Reaper is calling.
Well, man, dude, I appreciate you hanging out in the pit.
No, of course. Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me.
Dude, I've absolutely enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy My Chemical Romance tonight.
Oh, no, for sure.
I
appreciate it. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Which that statement right there is totally going to date this show by the time it drops.
Oh, yes. No, by a large margin.
It will be all right. Tell everybody where they can find you guys on social medias.
Yeah, of course. So we're Sister Sleep. You can find us at Sister Sleep Band. That's our tag for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Spotify. Anywhere you can stream music, you can find us. Our newest song is going to be dropping here soon. It's called Orchid Wide Awake, and we should have a music video for dropping for that soon after. So keep your eyes open. Keep listening to what we have out there right now, and yeah, I appreciate the support.
Absolutely, man. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll do
Thank
this
you.
again.
Yeah, I'd love to. You have a good one, all right?
You too, buddy. Bye.
All right, cool. Bye.